Okay, so kia ora, Talei. So I'll just let you introduce yourself and tell us about you.
Thank you. Kia ora, my name is Talei Bryant. I'm 22 years old. I'm half Fijian, half Palangi, and I was born in Nelson and bred here in Waimana for 20 years. And yeah, I'm a local. I went to Nuko North Primary School, followed by Whakatane High School where I was head girl, and then went off, did my stuff in the world, and then came back to Whakatane to help out where I can.
That's cool. So what exactly are you passionate about?
So I am very passionate about helping people find what they love to do in life and just helping people be the best person that they can be. And yeah, I'm really passionate about our youth here in Whakatane because, you know, our young people are the future, but more not just the youth, like the whole community, and just sort of giving them, giving people a platform where they can be more vulnerable and share their stories and just help find what help find what makes people the way they are, and then help sort of guide them into what they want to do and what they want to be.
So when you say guide them to what they want to be, do you mean youth and adults as well?
Yep. Yes, so everyone, that's why I started a group called the Find Your Fish movement, and that's the aim of that is to help people find their passion and turn it into their profession. And I always target the youth because they're our babies, and you know we can help them and get into schools. But like it's for everyone in the community. I always tell people like the KFC man, he didn't find his passion till he was like 60, you know. So there's hope for everyone.
Okay, awesome. So what is your fondest memory that at the top of your head?
So the fondest memory for me would be helping deliver my baby brother and sister. So two separate times. My sister was a water birth, and then my baby brother was, yeah, like a normal birth, but he had the cord wrapped around his neck. And yeah, so that was a real scary time. But I guess that's always sort of like my imprint on the kids, and then just made me be more like a mother, which is, yeah, what I want to be.
That's so cool. So how did you find that experience? Did that help you get your experience to help the youthful as well, or?
Yeah, I was like 12 and then 15, so I was pretty young, and I guess it really opened my eyes up just to a whole lot of things, you know. And it definitely made me, like over the years, I've always been like the kid's second mum, and then after my dad passed, I sort of like co-parent with my mum, and it's definitely given me the skills to be able to work, especially with youth. And yeah, it's helped a lot.
That is so awesome. Okay, so another question. Who is someone you admire or look up to?
My mum, definitely. She's my rock and like my best friend. And she's done really cool things and set the bar high for me. She was the first Fijian policewoman in New Zealand. And that has always been like, I was always like, wow, that's so cool, mum. And then she was a real estate agent here. She's a mother of four. And also her mother, these are two real strong figures for me. Her mother passed away last year, and she was in Parliament in Fiji. So I've always had that sort of political scene sort of in our house, just watching her on TV and stuff. And then she was the first female Speaker of Parliament, which I found very interesting because when I was little, I always had the goal, little as in like year 9, I always wanted to get into politics, and then I wanted to like eventually run for council and be mayor, and then after that I'd go to Prime Minister. Like those were my goals. And then after realising her job, it made me look more towards Speaker of House area and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, so tell me about your youth, like how you were growing up and where exactly you were born and how that, yeah, stuff like that.
Cool, thank you. So I was born in Nelson, and I only stayed there for a few months, and then before we got to Waimana, we lived in South Auckland. My mum was a policewoman there, and we lived down Mahia. We lived down Te Araroa, where my grandparents had they owned the holiday park, so down the coast and Omaio and all that. And then we moved to Waimana Gorge and have been there since I was about 3 years old. So I grew up there, very isolated. It was right in the middle of the bush. There's no reception. And growing up, I've always been very grounded and very close, especially to the earth. And, you know, the river's right there. My childhood was mean. Like, we would turn nothing into something, you know, would go down, play sticks and stones and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was a mean childhood.
So, do you think that because you're isolated in your childhood, so you say, do you think that would have been different if you were born in town?
Yeah, definitely. We wouldn't have been able to be as loud. Like me and my family are very loud, and that's just because no one can hear us. I think I would. I think a lot would be different. I've noticed that when I come to town, I'm on my phone a whole lot more, because there's access to internet and all that. But at home, there's nothing. It's just sort of peace and surreal and all that sort of stuff. And I guess just the how close me and my family are. We're very close. And it's just because we're the only people there. Like in holidays, well, if we didn't go to school, we'd stay at home for like 5 days at a time and just not see other people. But it was really cool. But yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think you've already told me this one, but what were your goals and aspirations when you were younger? I think you already told me that one.
Yeah, I talked about getting into politics and all that, and I was always keen, and I was more keen because I wanted to be in those decision-making areas. But as a kid, I don't know, I wanted to be a chef. I love food, and then I wanted to be a hairdresser. I don't even know why. But yeah, now a whole lot of different stuff always comes back to passing on skills, like different skills I know, or finding other people who have skills to teach people. So I was like, oh, teaching. But now I've always been a business entrepreneur type person, but sort of a social enterprise type thing. So now my aspirations are like opening up a business that helps and gives back to our community, especially in like youth led. So yeah.
It's so awesome. Okay, so who do you think the youth of Kopeopeo is?
Um, Youth of Kopeopeo, I think everyone who lives around here. Everyone, when you come up in the morning before schools, you can see the youth of Kopi. They're literally walking past the dairy and all that sort of stuff. And just the people from Whakatane, and especially in these areas where people walk, I don't even know the street's name. I don't know any names. I think just the people who live here are the people of Kopi.
So, when you say the people of Kopi, do you recognize like the different stereotypes that there are?
Yes, I do. You can see it. It's like you come to Kopeopeo, and a lot of people just come here to go to Pack and Save and then leave. Some people like me, we come here to do our washing, and then we go. And then if you go to the Strand, it's a whole lot different. People will take their time there. People will go to the different shops. People will sit down to eat and all that sort of stuff. And you definitely see the different stereotypes. We can see that there's a lot more homeless people down here. And you can even see it, not in a racism type thing, but you can see the different ethnicities that hang around from these ways compared to other parts of Whakatane. But yeah.
That's cool. So, do you think that the council could have any change over the different ethnicities and how you can recognize the different, I don't know, like the different stereotypes in both areas?
Yeah, I think council could definitely help in terms of focusing on infrastructure around Kopeopeo, and especially utilising the areas that we already have that aren't being used. For example, the old Countdown building, which has been there not being used for how many years, and I know that a number of different individuals, groups, community groups, all want to use it as a youth hub, because we currently don't have like just one full-on youth hub that isn't run by an organisation. Not only that, but then it's just the whole stigma that's put on Kopi. People avoid coming down here because they're scared of getting mugged, or they just don't want to be in this area. Like, it's just got a really bad bad stigma around it, and council could help with that, especially how they put in Youth of Kopi got the water fountain, so making it a more place where people want to come because you can get your fresh drinking water. And yeah, I think the actual youth of Kopeopeo and the youth of Whakatane have a whole lot of great ideas. They just have to council just have to listen and see how they can help and work together.
That's awesome. Answer the question perfectly. So, what do you think it's like to be a young person in Kopi?
I think it's hard. I think I say it's hard just for the ones who hang around here if they've got nowhere to go to at sometimes, a lot of people just hanging around, and people drive past and they'll stare at them, and they might just they're just getting stared at, and it's sort of like a what are you looking at type of situation. They just might feel a bit like fuck 'em off for being there, but as also, I think it's cool, like especially with the new Rangatahi hub down here. It's cool. We've got stuff going on. Like I said, there's the water fountain. We've got bakehouse. So it's like there's good and bad, and I guess it's just the way people look at it. But lately, I think it's bad just because of the stigma around it and the way people perceive Kopeopeo.
Okay, that's cool. So, what is it like to be a person your age in Kopi?
So a person my age, I feel pretty relaxed. I see a lot of people my age, a lot of my old high school friends around here. At night time, like I do usually, I'm not scared myself, but it's just hearing stories of what happened, or especially because I know that meth is really big right now. Oh, not right now, it's all over the country, it's just going crazy. And there's a lot of people that come out at night who are high and they aren't in control of their actions, and that is quite a danger. And I see that as quite a big issue because, you go through at night and you can see it. But yeah, being 22-year-old in Kopi is alright. Feel pretty chill. And yeah, I love it anyway.
So, back to the night situation, do you feel like that you need to have someone there to always like look out for you or something? Like if there was any situation that you were in?
Honestly, now, yes. Before, I didn't really mind. But lately, just in some situations I've been in around here, whether it's just walking to the car, it's been a bit uneasy. And so, yeah, now I do feel like I want someone there, which I think is very bad, and then puts just another bad whole stigma on Kopi. But it's just reality. It's just the truth.
Awesome. Okay, so what do people say about Kopi, and what do you say about Kopi?
A lot of people say that Kopi's like Hori and Kopi's for the Hori people. I think Kopi's beautiful, and I see a whole lot of potential out here. There's some great shops, and the shops are run by great people like the Salvation Army. I love coming here. And yeah, I just think it's so much potential. Like I can't wait to see, especially after the new council is elected, whoever it is, whether I get in or not, I'm still very keen to work alongside anyone who's keen to help rejuvenate Kopi and especially make it more youth friendly. But yeah, I think it's great.
Okay, that's honestly awesome. Okay, so I've got another question. It's kind of long. Okay, so what do you think the young people? Oh wait, what? Oh yeah, what do you think the young people of our roke or area want our decision makers to know about them?
I think the young people want the decision makers to know that we have a voice. And I say we because I count myself as a young person, that we do have a voice, that we're not just little kids, that we understand what is going on in our community and we understand the issues that face our people, and that we have ideas. And because we are so young, like we have different ideas to them, and we want them to take us seriously. And that we have got a voice and we've got something to say, and to just listen to us and not talk at us, but talk with us, talk to us, communicate with us.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so what do you think our young people feel should be important to decision making?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Okay, yeah, all good. What do you think our young people feel should be important to our decision makers? Yeah, sorry.
What do young people... Oh, right. I feel that young people, important to decision makers, would be, just listening to us. Again, it'll just be for decision makers to realise that we are people as well. We are young people. We're younger than them. We won't have as much experience as them, but we still have our own experiences and we still have our own ideas.
So, do you think it's important for everyone to vote?
Yes. If you can vote, if you are enrolled to vote, if you live in New Zealand and you can enroll to vote, then I believe that you should vote, because your vote is your voice. Like, that's, if something happens that you don't agree with and you didn't vote, then I don't believe that you should say anything against it, because you had your chance to put your hand up. And people think like, oh, my vote doesn't count, but like, your vote, it does count, because if everyone who didn't vote voted, then we would get in straight away. Just putting it out there.